Meditation is a deeply personal journey, shaped by our unique lives, habits, and the rhythms of the world around us. In the beginning, many people approach meditation with a sense of curiosity and flexibility, fitting it in whenever and wherever possible. This was certainly true in my own experience with heartfulness meditation. At that time, I would meditate at any moment that seemed convenient, in any place that offered a few minutes of quiet. I didn't give much thought to the timing or the environment. But as my life grew busier and more complicated, I found myself needing to structure my practice more intentionally. Gradually, I started setting aside a fixed time for meditation each day. This shift had a profound impact. There was a noticeable difference between meditating whenever I felt like it and meditating at the same time every day. It was only when I began meditating early in the morning, before the world around me had truly woken up, that my practice truly took flight. Years later, I found myself wondering if there was something deeper behind these experiences. Was there a special wisdom about the best times and places to meditate? I hoped that Daaji, a wise teacher in the heartfulness tradition, could shed some light on these questions. When I asked him, "What is the best time for meditation?" he simply replied, "Now." It was a reminder that the present moment is always available, always the right time to turn inward. Still, I pressed further, asking if some times are better than others. Daaji was careful not to create rigid rules or dogmas. He explained that making absolute statements might deprive people of the joy of discovering the truth for themselves. Yet he acknowledged that our elders have passed down knowledge about ideal meditation practices. From a practical perspective, he suggested meditating when the likelihood of disturbance is at its lowest. In our busy world, the ideal time isn't always possible. We have families, jobs, and endless demands on our attention. That's why it's important to choose a time thoughtfully. Often, early morning is best, when there are fewer distractions. But most importantly, if you are truly interested, you will find a way to meditate, no matter what. A serious meditator doesn't wait for convenience. Imagine telling a dear friend, "I'll meet you only when it's convenient for me." It would suggest that your convenience is more important than your friendship. In the same way, meditation is a sacred union with your innermost self. If you value this inner connection, you will make time for it, regardless of your circumstances. Many people claim they're too busy to meditate, but as Daaji reminded me, if meditation were truly a priority, they would find the time. He shared a story of a senior government officer who said he had no time to meditate. The officer admitted that perhaps only the Prime Minister was busier than he was. The reply was simple: "Give me the difference between your busyness and the Prime Minister's busyness, and use that time for meditation." The message is clear. If you want to make something a part of your life, you will find a way. There are inspiring examples of people who make meditation a priority, even in the face of opposition or enormous demands. One woman who taught me to meditate faced intense resistance from her family. Yet, she found ways to practice, waking before everyone else, meditating discreetly, sometimes even pretending to be asleep, or finding a quiet moment in the bathroom. Her life revolved around meditation, and her dedication was unwavering. This illustrates a simple truth. When you are eager to do something, love finds a way. Often people don't realize that meditation isn't just a demand on time, it's actually a way to save time. We spend countless hours and energy on pursuits that may or may not bear fruit, whether in relationships, work, or personal projects. Meditation sharpens our insight, allowing us to evaluate situations more clearly and make wiser choices. This clarity can save us years of effort spent in the wrong direction. In fact, the less time you have, the more powerful meditation becomes. Even 5 minutes a day, at a fixed time, can be transformative. especially for those who feel they have no time at all. Regularity is crucial. Daaji emphasized that our practice should become automatic, woven seamlessly into our daily routine. Just as nature operates in perfect rhythm, the sun rises and sets, the seasons change, tides ebb and flow. So too should our practice align with this natural order. When we are in tune with nature's rhythm, life flows more smoothly. For example, going to bed at the same time each night helps us fall asleep easily. Similarly, meditating at the same time each day allows the mind and body to slip naturally into a meditative state without effort. Traditionally, certain times of day, known as sandhya, are considered especially favorable for meditation. These are the transition periods, before sunrise, at noon, and immediately after sunset, when one part of the day merges into another. At these times, nature is in balance, and by meditating then, we can absorb that balance and make it part of ourselves. Yet, as Daaji reminded me, these are guidelines, not rules. The key is to experiment for yourself. Meditate at different times and notice the effects. What works for one person may not work for another. Circumstances, geography, and personal rhythm all play a role. Just as important as timing is the place where you meditate. The environment you choose can have a subtle but significant effect on your practice. Returning to the same spot each day helps create a meditative atmosphere there. Over time, this space becomes filled with peace and purity, making it easier to enter a meditative state as soon as you sit down. In contrast, meditating in a different place every day can be distracting, as your mind takes time to adjust to new surroundings. Our thoughts and actions leave an imprint on the places we inhabit. When you enter a hospital, you can often sense the heaviness and sorrow in the air. In the same way, when you dedicate a space to meditation, it gradually becomes imbued with lightness, serenity, and sacredness. Even if you can't set aside a whole room, a simple corner will do, as long as it is reserved for meditation and kept free from other activities. When choosing a place, look for an environment that is clean, orderly, and free from distractions. A tidy, uncluttered space supports inner calm. But as you progress in your practice, you may find that you can meditate even in less than ideal circumstances, learning to remain unaffected by your surroundings. Finally, remember that time and place are not the only factors influencing meditation. Our mood, health, recent experiences, and even what we eat can affect the quality of our practice. Early morning is often ideal because the mind is a blank slate, untouched by the day's events. Yet, it's worth experimenting. Try meditating before or after eating, before or after bathing, and notice the differences. Above all, don't become rigid. Use these guidelines as starting points, but ultimately, let your own experience guide you. With sincerity, regularity, and a spirit of exploration, you will discover the best times and places for your own meditation journey.